Hi, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. So, I want to talk about dating in Philly in my early 20s. I have some crazy stories being from the South and moving to Philly. Like, that in itself was already a big change. When I was in my early 20s, wasn't living in Philly for that long at the time, and wasn't aware of the type of guys that Philly guys can be. I'm not saying that down south guys are better as a whole, because I've been in some messed up situations with them too. And it was probably a combination of me being just young and fairly new to adulthood. I met someone, it was at an event at a church, and exchanged numbers. I won't say his name, and I doubt he'll probably come across this video anyways. We planned to hang out. I remember the day of, he sent some text messages saying that his car was in the shop, like the moment before we were supposed to hang out. So I was already excited up until this point. I know I probably told my mom, like, I'm going to hang out with this guy at this time. So when suddenly he was reneging somewhat, I was disappointed. That was like really messed up. So when he mentioned that his car was in the shop, I had a car, and I realized we both stayed in the same section of Philly, West Philly. I'm like, you know what? I'll just pick you up. Maybe that was red flag number one. The fact that he didn't tell me that he didn't have a car and lied and said that his car was in the shop, I didn't like it, but at the time I didn't realize it was lying. I went to where he lived, picked him up. He asked me to drop him off at a bar where his father was. To this day, I still don't really know why. In the middle of the day, this was like around, maybe 1-ish. So this is a weekday. The sun is out, but he wanted to see his dad at a bar. He comes back. We go to the Ben Franklin Parkway area where the famous Rocky statue is. So highly recommend, if you're visiting Philly, go over there. And it's right basically by the art museum. We went on that side, and at that point it was pleasant until we went to South Street. So when we went to South Street, it wasn't anything substantial at first. We pretty much walked along the sidewalk, looked at different stores on the outside, and it was so hot this day. It was extremely hot, and I really wanted to get some water. So keep in mind, we hadn't gone to any restaurant. There wasn't any money spent up until this point, but I was having a good time. So we went to a store called Wawa. If you're not familiar with Wawa, that's a convenience store in America. There's a lot of them in Pennsylvania, New Jersey. I think they've been spreading around the United States. But they sell different like snacks, water bottles, things that you normally see at a convenience store. We walked over there, and he was like, Alicia, pick out whatever you want. Hearing that, even though it was just Wawa, I was like, pick out whatever I want. So I was like browsing through all the products at the store. I want to say I settled on maybe like a water bottle and maybe like some candy. It wasn't really too much. So he's picking out, I think it was like a smoothie or something. I want to say it was a smoothie. It was definitely some type of drink of some sort. So we get to the counter. It's like, Alicia, put everything on the counter. So I put it on the counter. He places his stuff on the counter. The cashier was like, that'll be $5.15. So I look at him, and he looks at me. And I realize he doesn't even have $5 to his name to pay for this. That was probably one of the lowest parts of my life, y'all, at this time. And I had never been in this situation. And the cashier, she looked like she wanted to laugh. I know that as soon as we left, her and the other cashiers and other staff, they probably was laughing and talking about us for the rest of the day. So what do? I was young, so I would never do this again, but I just took out my debit card and paid the $5.15. Like, I was irritated to the highest level. Like, you don't have $5. You tell me to pick out whatever I want, and you don't even have the money to do it. Like, so afterwards, we walked to my car, and yes, I drove him back home. I should have left him. If this would have happened today, I would have left him at the store, and he wouldn't have been able to ride with me at that point. But me being so young, I drove him home. He stopped at the bar again to meet with his dad inside. I was in the car, so I didn't go inside, but all I could just think of was I was disgusted. So dropped him off. Obviously, I didn't want to see him again after that. Like, that was it. I happened to run into him at another event, and I had told my friends what happened, so they were already aware when they saw him, and it was just a lot of inside jokes every time we seen him. I was still friendly, but you don't even have $5. I wasn't working at that time, but I at least had that much in my account. It is messed up if you make it seem like you have a car, you make it seem like you're going to pay for something, and you lie. At least be honest about your situation. And there are other stories that I have from living in this city that I may share at another time. Ladies, if you're in that situation and the person is trying to force you to pay and you're just caught off guard, try to get back into reality and don't do it. Just leave them. Like, I wish I could have just walked away from that Wawa counter. Looking back, I definitely wouldn't do this ever again. So it was a learning experience. So let me know what you think about that story. Like, share, subscribe, and I may share some more messed up dating stories. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.